Hey, hey, hey! Don't you love how we do it here? This is show number 24 of our first season, and it's been quite an exciting adventure. As you can tell, it's been fun. It's been challenging. It's been fun. It's been ever changing. Of course, things change all the time, and that's one of the things. The survival of the fittest. It's your ability to adapt to the change. And there's some beautiful weather that has been going on here lately, up here in the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. And I call it crack weather. And I guess you're wondering why I call it crack weather. Well, you can't drive a mile down the road without seeing somebody working in their yard and their cracks showing. So that's my crack weather. I'm glad you guys like it. And some more exciting stuff that's going on. Did you guys know that Bill Clinton was in town today? Yeah, I left my blue dress at home. Yeah, I didn't want to become a talking head. Oh, I know I'm sick, but what can I say? I love it. Yep. And there's lots of things that have been on TV about prostitution lately, and I just wanted to know who would be considered the cheapest hoe, the one with the $3 cigar or the one with the $3,000 bill? Oh well. Anyhow, now that you guys have laughed at those really poor, sick jokes, I got really excited. I was out and about this week, and I found a new co-host. And some of you knew Kim when she was here, and she had too many things going on, and she couldn't, be here any longer. And I really didn't want to get another co-host, but it's I'd like to have somebody with, and it had to be somebody who was really great, and because she was such a great person, it had to be somebody super. So look who it is. It's Superman. Hey, Superman, how are you? Oh, wait a minute. Where'd Superman go? Superman?
I have a lady in distress. I will be back.
What? A lady in distress?
Yes.
Why, hello!
You're welcome.
How are you? Superman, you are so great. That's why I have you for a co-host. You saved Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm great. Good to be here again.
It's so nice to have you again. For those of you who are wondering, if you've followed us all along, Stephanie was on our show on addictions, and that we had taped back January 4th, I think that it was. And we're doing pretty good, or shall I say, people are looking for information regarding addiction, because we're over 2,000. I mean, people might not think that that's a big number, but to me that's a pretty big number. The closest number to that 2,000 is the virgin sacrifice on the beach. And if you guys go to Google Video, you can see the different shows and video that I've done. And my virgin sacrifice on the beach is when my daughter was laying on the beach and the seagulls were coming down, and they were eating food off of her. Whoa, talk about a whirlpool. It was so weird. I was taping, and it would go black, and I would move it and it would go black again. But yeah, that was up there in the Blue Ridge. It's so neat up there. I love it up there.
That was the tape you did on the way to Balsam Grove.
Yeah. Yeah, up by Devil's Courthouse over the west end of Transylvania County. So it was really, really neat. So anyhow, we were to have another guest on today, and you guys know how things go on this show anyhow. It's constant, and I don't know where the problem lies, but my dear friend Stephanie stepped in and said, hey, I'll do it. Because we feel that this is something that's really, really important. I mean, the whirlpool, how the water comes down, the pressure of the addiction, and that's going to be a big part of the show today. So.
And I just happen to be an expert on addiction.
There we go. Well, I've gained a few pounds since this show started, so that has to be one of my addictions. Not the show.
The pounds.
The pounds.
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. We were discussing earlier about how when you enter into recovery and you give up whatever substance or thing or situation it is that's burdening your life, if you're not very, very careful, it's quickly replaced with something else that can be just as detrimental.
Oh, that's for sure, because I mean, I can look at my pictures and see how I've gone up and down in weight, you know, over the years, and it's like, you know, I still haven't gotten that underlying emotional defect of mine, you know. Let me see, which one is it that I have to work on in order to, you know, okay, let me let those sweet things. I'm addicted to sweet stuff. You know, it started out with, you know, sugar's the gateway drug, and it started out with the candy, the cake, you know, the sweet talking men. That was an addiction of mine for a while. How about you?
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Relationships. He didn't even have to talk sweet.
Oh, really?
As long as he was breathing, you know.
Yeah.
And might say that he loved me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah, that was a predominant from my teenage years through recovery, beginning of recovery.
yeah.
And still, you know, I grapple with it sometimes. But life's a lot better than it used to be. There's a lot more balance. It's taken a long time, but I was told early on that recovery is about balance. You know, and
But if we've never been balanced to begin with,
I wasn't.
so, you know, how do we know that we're not balanced? Because to us, the imbalance is normal.
Well, once you start living a life of recovery, you're able to recognize the imbalance.
Oh, for sure.
You know, I can see the insanity of the life I used to live, but when I was living it, I didn't see it as insane. I guess I saw it as survival.
And that was a big part of it. I mean, a lot of us were in the survival mode. I remember, you know, in the first step, you know, admitting our lives are unmanageable, you know, and we're powerless. And it's like, but I can manage the chaos.
Right.
I was good at managing the chaos.
Right.
You know, the chaos that comes along with it. And our show today is going to be on solutions. This is the last show of the season, so I had to run the beginning of it one more time. Next week is the new season, so it's going to be, everything's going to be new, and it's going to be telling a vision, GloLady TV, telling a vision, and we're going to be talking about solutions. We kind of went over, you know, Revelations revealing the truth of the matter, and talked about a lot of the problems, and you know, we don't want to focus on what the problem is. Obviously, we see that there is a problem. And we want to start talking about solutions and how do we, you know, solve these problems. Is he in your way?
No, but I think if he's going to be your co-host, he needs to
Oh,
be in the
should we-
shot at
should we-
least.
oh.
I can share my chair.
Okay.
Come on, baby. I mean, after all, he did save my life.
Oh, well, he's right behind the flowers. Oh, do you want
Here,
to sit
here.
with Stephanie? Oh, can you?
Is that better? Worse? Oh, look.
I
His
know, isn't
suit's
he
going
great?
away, but he's still a super.
He's still Superman. You know what I like about him?
What? Yeah.
He's hard and he never talks.
But he suffers from the blues.
He does. He has piercing blue eyes. They look like holes in his head, I guess.
Yeah, I also have a photo of him, brother Christopher. He's in the control rooms, or control room. Excuse me. Ah, there we are. Now you can really see the Superman.
Okay, here, baby. There we go.
Oh, is he all ready to
Look
go
at those
again?
muscles.
And see, that's one of the things about, you know, addiction. It's like we can admit we're sick, or at least I can admit I'm sick.
Yeah. Yeah, which is something I never knew. You know.
And that's a big part of it, because people see addicted people as being bad people. They don't see them as
Weak-willed.
Weak-willed, whatever
Right.
you want to, you know, they do not see them as being sick people. You know, most people, and there again, a lot of the people that are in the prison systems, they are, you know, looked at as being bad people. But the majority of them who are in the prison systems, they are, you know, sick people. You know, I mean, a lot of things that they do, they're not in their right mind.
Interesting that you should bring that up. As you know, I have a daughter
Oh, yeah.
who is incarcerated, North Carolina Department of Corrections. has had a serious drug problem for 10 years. As a teenager, when I would try to seek help for her, what I was told primarily is, you know, cuts in funding. And if she was a boy, then they might be able to place her in some kind of a juvenile rehab, but because she was a girl, there was no programs for her.
Oh, really?
And it went from bad to worse to worse to worse, to the point where a year ago right now, she weighed 7 pounds and couldn't keep the needle out of her arm. That's addiction.
Yeah, yeah.
And
but there again, you're talking about it's a progressive.
Absolutely.
You know, not saying that she started day one and this is how bad she was, but it's
Right.
understanding that this disease is progressive.
Absolutely.
And, you know, she became, this is where her bottom took her.
And from what I understand, from what I've learned, that even though I am not imbibing in my drug of choice, my disease is still progressing. That if I were to take a drink, because my drug is alcohol, if I took a drink today, chances are I would be right back even in worse shape than when I stopped.
Right.
And I was living in blackout when I stopped drinking. So, you know, that's a scary thought.
It is, and that's one of the things that keeps me from from picking up that first one myself. I don't want to go back to where I was. It was a painful place to be.
And that was the
And,
problem.
yeah. I mean, it's so good when you finally see what the solution is, and it's wanting the solution. You know, a lot of us, we don't want to be who we are, and therefore we suffer from that dis-ease with who we are.
I spent my entire life trying to be what other people expected me to be and wanted me to be, so I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know who I was. I had a pretty good feeling that I was bad. I don't know why, but I thought I
Right.
was bad. And I'm sure that was a big part of the cycle.
But the bad doing bad things, but not really understanding why
Right.
we did these
Absolutely.
things.
Well, it wasn't as though I did bad things. I was bad for doing bad things. And I learned that that's not the case. You know, and I learned that I am lovable.
Big part.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, when you love somebody, you're careful not to do things that'll hurt them.
Right. And a big thing is loving ourselves, because a lot of times we do not have that self-love. That's something, you know, most of us have the self-loathing, you know, and why, you know, why is that? Why do we have that self-loathing? And there again, it's going back, you know, in our childhood, you know. If we are born of pure love, how did we end up where we are? You know, who, you know, said, you know, something in order for us to go down that deep descent into that disease part of? Don't mind them, they're playing around.
I did a great deal of inner child work.
Yeah, Superman is trying to
And
work on some music for
in
you.
the first 5 years or so of my recovery, and actually took myself back to childhood and became friends with that little girl that I didn't know lived inside me, that's always been inside me, that will always be inside me. You stop maturing when the addiction process begins. So I stopped maturing probably around 10 years old.
Wow.
And
Even
was-
before puberty.
Was stuck at 10 years old till I was 39.
Right, right. Hey, Chris, can you shut that door in there? That'll work. Wow. Do you notice a difference?
Yes, a lot of different.
Can you guys hear that music?
I like it.
That's James Crouch. He's still going to be doing our theme song, plus some more goodies. If you go on Google Video, you can see more of him too. But anyhow, back to where were we?
We were talking about the solution, and I wanted to ask you. We're talking about self-love and learning to love and nurture that little person inside of you that was hurt. I wondered, how did you get to the point where you knew that you were lovable, where you could actually embrace yourself as a good person who didn't need to do self-destructive things anymore?
It was coming into a 12-step program, and the battling of listening to what others say versus what I felt. And in the 12-step program, they have the medallion, and on the medal it says, "To thine own self be true," and that has to be, it is, my saying, genius hinges on insanity only when you're not true to yourself.
Right.
So it was only then that it's like, okay, well, I don't have to be what other people think or say I should be, because that's where my insanity was, trying to be that person that they wanted me to be, and that was a tough one. I learning that I could accept me just as I was, that I didn't have to be.
And in order to do that, you have to love yourself.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts.
And that's right. But a lot of us don't, we don't love ourselves. We don't have that. A lot of us don't have that self-love because, I think that we are born with that self-love, that we are taught something other than.
Absolutely.
That we are
We're
less
taught
than.
not to listen to our real selves.
Right. But then why is that? What upbringing is it that, we're not taught to?
Well, it goes back.
Generations.
Oh, yeah.
And generations and generations.
I said on the last show, my mother was the daughter of a Southern Baptist preacher. Mm-hmm. She did the best she could.
Right.
They both did.
Right. Right.
And I did the best I could.
Right.
In forgiving my parents, I eventually realized that it was okay to forgive me too, because I'd made all the same mistakes they did and worse. And worse.
That's it. We learned that we have to forgive others for not being as perfect as we are.
Yeah. Or are not.
That's it, because we're not. And there again, why do we hold other people to those perfect standards when, we don't? That's something that I, have to remind myself. It's like, well, you're not perfect, so why are you, thinking that somebody else should be perfect?
Right.
Because I know I'm not. So why am I putting other standards upon them?
Well, I think since we strive for perfection, we expect other people to as well.
That's true. Yes. And then we learn it's that progress, and that's a big part of, being so, critical of, hey, man, Superman's disappearing again.
He's in the water. Look, he's drowning.
Oh, poor Superman. He's probably going to go and get another damsel.
Story of my life. Maybe
I know.
He has relationship issues also.
Oh, that might be why he's never been with just one woman.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lois Lane.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what was his. Oh, well, there again, he. Let's see. What's his excuse? Well, who was his real parents, and what happened to them, and who brought him up, and see, you're not alone. Even Superman has problems.
That's it. He didn't have a perfect life either.
That's it, and that's what it is. We don't live in a perfect society. Why do we feel that things should be perfect? It's not. And it's learning to give up that control. A lot of us who are addicted, we try to control. We, oh, it's not going my way. Well, that's a good excuse,
Right.
Starting the show, that's just been how it's been. And, if I wouldn't have given up that control, I wouldn't be doing a second season, because it's not going the way that I want it.
I think, the perfection thing. I think that it began for me when I was very, very young in church, and I heard, now I don't know what the grown-ups said, but I heard that there was this being that was brought to earth in human form who was killed for my sins, because I'm not perfect.
Right.
So I better try to be perfect.
Right.
Because such a bad thing happened because of me. That's where the perfection thing
Oh,
began.
Wow.
So long
Wow.
ago.
But you can pinpoint it, and so many of us can't. And that's a big part of, when you're trying to recover, a big part is going back into that childhood.
I have a friend also in recovery. You probably know her. who was raised Catholic, and she talks about as a 8, 9-year-old little girl making up things to say in confession.
Oh, really?
Because she didn't have anything
To confess.
To confess.
Right.
But she felt that she had to, so she would make up things.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's sad.
Yeah.
That really, really is, and that's a big part of, you know, in the organized religion of and our spiritual connection with, and that's a lot of people struggle with that, you know, because trying to be that God, you know, of their, you know, the control of their own existence, that, you know, I feel that, you know, oh, you know, I want to be the God, and it's not.
Well, I regularly tell God if he'll just give me a glimpse of what my life's going to be like in a year, I'll help him get me there. Because I want to know, you know, and I want to be happy. I want to have that happily ever after.
But then we also have to understand that our happiness is dependent upon our own connection.
And it's in the here and now.
That's it.
It's here. This is it. I think one of the best gifts I was given when I first got sober was God of my childhood. And I was taught the difference between organized religion and spirituality. And that allowed me to find the self-love and the forgiveness and all the other things that are so crucial to being healthy.
Right, right. And they say about religion is for those who are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for those who have been through hell.
And don't want to go back.
And don't, that's it. And understanding that it's our choice. You know, we have a choice. You know, you don't ever have to feel this way again, because it's your choice. You know, I mean, if you take responsibility for your own happiness. Oh, I just noticed we didn't have any studio lights on either. I love doing this show. You know, for those of you out there who don't know anything about public access TV, it's a do-it-yourself. And this is being filmed live.
Or as they say,
yeah.
or as they say, learn as you
I
go.
love that tree. That's in Brevard. It's this great big massive. Anyhow, this is being filmed live in Brevard. This is March the 28th.
Oh,
and
you're talking
it's
about
6:25 p.m. So if that's not what your time says now, you're not watching us live.
We're not.
And
We're not in
you
Brevard.
too can be a member and produce your own TV show. And if you are not in the local viewing area, then look for other stations that are close to you and check it out, because it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's also a lot of fun too.
Has it become your new addiction?
By the way, GloLady, we're not in Brevard, we're in Buncombe.
I tried to tell her that.
Yeah,
The
and
trees in Brevard. You
did
said
I
we were in
did I?
Brevard,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Her
what
heart's in
can I
Brevard.
say? I live in Brevard. That tree is in Brevard. This show is in Buncombe County. It's Asheville.
North Carolina.
That's it. But anyhow,
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
What would you advise someone if they just walked up to you and said, GloLady, I am stuck in the problem and I want to find the solution. What should I do?
well, the identification that there is a problem is the first step. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's, you know, you cannot solve a problem until you can recognize what the problem is, you know, and then, okay, well, what's the solution for it? You know, and most of the time, there's choices. You know, we have choices. Okay, if you go down this path, this is where this path is going to take you. If you go down this path, this is where this path is going to take you. You know, and it's understanding that you have the choice in your own happiness. You know, that's more or less what that's what I say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I think, though, that when I was drunk and I wanted to stop drinking, I couldn't have understood any of that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I couldn't have heard it. I put myself in treatment, and I started to go into 12-step meetings, a couple different kinds, and it took a long time before I could understand words that you just said. I couldn't identify feelings.
Oh, that's right. You were talking.
I couldn't tell you what fear was. I knew anger. I knew anger. And I knew anger.
But
and
but
more
that was the
anger.
only thing that you could recognize, the anger.
I could recognize anger. I guess I could recognize fear, but I couldn't say the word because I didn't know that's what it was. But I was full of fear. I had no clue how to live like the people I saw around me, you know, who were surviving and living and happy and smiling without a drink in each hand. I had absolutely no comprehension how anyone could do that.
And that's a big part in people getting sober, is that what do they do without, because their life has been, you know, revolving around, you know, let me take my bottle with me, you know, or my drink or whatever, and we don't know how we could have fun because, well, we can't go swimming without that bottle, or we can't go here
You
without.
can't go to dinner without a bottle.
There you go. There you go. And you know, so it's like, you know, that fear of the unknown. Oh, well, I won't have any fun anymore. I'm just going to be dull and boring.
A glom lot.
That's it. And trust me, it's by far dull and boring. And it's, you know, I just remember the fun that I have now, and that's a whole lot of fun.
I was told scary things like I'd have to give up all my friends, you know, everybody I partied with. I'd
Oh,
have
yeah.
to change all my friends, my playgrounds and playmates. And I thought, God, how can they ever get along without me? I just didn't know how they could do that.
Did they notice you were gone?
No, they didn't notice. Except one, Debbie. Debbie still calls me. Debbie, I love you. They also said that I was going to have to change everything about me, everything, or die a miserable alcoholic death. And I actually thought, which one should I do?
Yeah, you had a...
I knew that change could be nothing but an improvement, but
Right.
still, change was so scary.
Yeah.
So now I embrace change. Change is exciting.
I know, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, it is.
That it is. That, I mean,
But I
like,
had to learn that. I
You know, how
guess.
many hours ago, hey, man, you want to do the show today? It's like,
Right.
whoa. I mean, you know, yeah, we can make these decisions that are, our minds aren't in the fog anymore.
Right.
You know, we can make snap decisions. And I remember before making snap decisions, and it was like, ooh, where'd that come from?
I think it's spontaneity. Once you're sober, you know, it's spontaneity.
Yeah.
It's not.
Intuitively know how to
Yes.
handle situations which used to baffle us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did that today.
I know. I know. Life is good. So if you are suffering with an addiction, a dis-ease within you, and you don't know what to do, there is a solution, and you never have to feel this way again. It's your choice. You know, you have to make that choice. You have to make that decision, and there are places to go to get help. And Stephanie was telling me earlier today about the financial aid for
Yes.
those. If you'd like to tell people about that, that's something that's really interesting too.
I learned that the first 2 years that a person is clean and sober, then they qualify for assistance as a disabled person would. That it is considered a disability and an illness. You can get help with schooling, with shelter, with probably food and transportation.
And where would they go to find something like that out?
Probably you'd have to check through your local DSS agency. I know in Brevard we have Transylvania Vocational Services that has been very, very helpful to a lot of people restarting their lives.
Yeah. We had Michael Collins on a couple of weeks ago, and he's really, really cool. And I guess that's why, you know, I keep coming up with Brevard, because I mean, the services that Brevard has to offer for as small of a town as it is, it's you know, I mean, it's community.
Brevard's getting a lot smarter.
Oh, big time.
Yeah,
Big
a lot
time.
more open-minded. Hasn't like
Well,
crept up
yeah.
to Asheville level yet,
No.
but we're a lot more open-minded than we
Yeah,
used to be.
yeah. Now it's, you know, along with that, it was like, oh, something came in and it went back out again. Dang, 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 dang. It'll come back to me. But it was something on the order of with the financial. It'll come back because it's something that, yeah. The train will come back in the station. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but dang, and now it's going to bug me until I remember what it was.
Well, it wasn't the spiritual solution.
No.
Because that's not about financial.
No.
As a matter of fact, all the financial worries go away when you focus on the spiritual solution.
When you focus on the spiritual solution and you know, and there again, you know, I like to say that I live by divine and oh, wait a minute, is that
Where
what?
are we?
Where we are, we're going to talk about a solution that really needs cleaned up because, you know, we're talking about these things. Those are those blue cylinder poison containers.
So we're in a toxic dump.
We are in a toxic dump
in
right
my
now.
county,
In your county.
close to where I live.
And it's a source of, or it goes into Asheville's water supply. And some photos that you're going to be seeing are up at DuPont State Forest. And someone had taken me there to get photographs. He had told me about this. And it was about a year since the last time that he was there. And he had tried to alert authorities, and no one would pay attention to it. And, you know, we're talking about these, you know, the disease aspect of it. And then we talk about bipolar and the chemical imbalance. And then we talk about, you know, the drugs ending up in our water supply. And it's like, wow, you know, look at all that toxic waste that's, you know, they had these barrels sitting there. And then, you know, there's a big dozer, and it's like, how much was even buried before? And who's the one who, did they vandalize it? Or was that their way of getting rid of? Because there were holes in the containers, and there's stuff spilled out all over the ground. And yeah, that's going into your water supply. So, you know, and looking at, it's like, okay, well, these chemicals that leach into our water supply, and, you know, what do they have to do with our health? You know, is that a mentally or physically? You know, where is that? You know, it's got to be hurting somebody. But yeah, that was really interesting.
My mind's still trying to wrap around these things are in a state forest. I mean, they can't be right next to the hiking trails or, I mean.
Oh, there was a road there. I mean, where I went up, it was like a quarter mile, you know, walk up there. And Chris, if you can find, there's a photo on there with an old bus. I'm not sure if you can find it, but the school bus that was there was from back in the 50s. I mean, I'm you know, looking at it, you know, my guesstimation is that this school bus was from back in the 50s. Well, if there is that much toxic waste that was left over, how would they dispose of it but underneath their noses? That's the easiest way to hide something, but underneath their noses. And if they are granting this land that is housing a toxic waste dump, well, who cares? Who knows? You know, who's responsible for it? Oh, well, we gave the people the land. They get to clean it up. But if they don't know about it, how can they clean it up? And how toxic are those wastes that are there?
It would be interesting to know what was in the blue barrels.
Oh, it would really be interesting because whatever was in the blue barrels, the chemical reaction, whether it was the sunlight or whether it was the chemicals inside that were reacting to the barrels themselves, but they were discolored. You could see where I mean, something's going on. Something's going on.
You know, up there at that plant, they made photography film and things like that.
Oh, is that what it was film? Mm-hmm. Wonder what kind of chemical it was.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know who would like that information, but there again, that doesn't mean that it's only at DuPont, okay? You know, I just said where it was because there's a lot of corporations that are out there that got rich on quite a few people. And, you know, I mean, I'm back to that corporate, I have a problem with the corporate greed in society, and alcohol is a big part of, because we have these manufacturers, corporate, who, are, manufacturing the alcohol and the glorification of the bar scene, the alcohol, the spirits that we're putting in us, and it's like, wow, we're really creating a lot of havoc in the world today.
But by the same token, I mean, if you think about the number of alcoholics in society in relation to the number of people in society, we're a minority. Mm-hmm. There's lots of people that can go out there and go to the bar and mm-hmm. have fun and dance and have a couple drinks and mm-hmm. not do anything stupid and make it home all right and hopefully have a designated driver. Mm-hmm. Most of the world can do that.
But there again, I'm grateful that I am an alcoholic because of the life that I have today.
Well, if I hadn't been an alcoholic, I wouldn't be living in this solution that we were talking about.
That's it.
And that is by far the best life I could imagine.
Oh, better, more so.
More gooder.
Yeah, yeah. More so.
Gooder.
I mean, that's that's an effort. Oh, and I remember what I had forgotten earlier, anonymity and how important anonymity is. Because even though, okay, all right, I know what's wrong with me, I'm an alcoholic, now let's find the solution to my problem. And I know I went out and I was all excited, I'm an alcoholic, that's what's wrong with me, mm-hmm. And people would look at me really strange. And there again, anonymity is really important because of people losing their jobs.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of, because of the stigma that's still attached to the disease of, that anonymity is important in a lot of professions, because there have been people who have been fired when they have disclosed, or when someone has disclosed the so-called secret that they were, are sick people. Yeah, there's that's the lake that was at the bottom of that toxic dump, and it's a really beautiful lake. I mean, there's a campground and everything there, and that's where, at the bottom of that, where the toxic waste is. And if somebody wants to do something about it, that would be really cool, and you can let me know.
That would be neat, and you could let me know.
I know, really. But there again, who's going to want to do something about it? A lot of people talk, but not many people are willing to step up to the plate. Last week we had Jenny Bowen, and she's with Faces of Asheville. And, we had talked about, everybody has an addiction part of. And part of our solution and part of her solution in Faces of Asheville is, being a person who wants to make a difference in society. And starting in July, the first Sunday of every month, we are going to be having a community potluck dinner and, getting the communities together. And we're going to still do the world record, even though, there's not really a whole lot of people interested in it this year. But that's okay, because we're going to work on it and practice until next year. So, we don't want to be a part of the problem anymore, because then we'd be just talking. And that's what part of the problem is. People just talk. These political campaigns, it's like, who can badmouth the other one more than the other one can? And oh my gosh.
Well, that's why I'm really looking forward to the election. Then
Yeah?
it can all be over. And we won't have to hear it anymore.
Yeah, but it's like, which one? That's
I don't even go there.
Yeah.
Don't even go there.
I'm just, hope and pray that it will be a person who will make a difference for the better in society, not taking it down the path that it's gone down for way too long.
Wouldn't it be nice to have someone who chose to live divinely?
Oh, that would be.
Wow.
I mean, what a difference that we could make, not just in the United States, but in the, in the whole world. I love
It's all about love.
That's the solution. We were born pure love, and the further we get away from it, the more miserable that we get. You know, and the big part is loving, you know, learning to love ourselves and you know, the solution of, you know, and you're only as sick as your secrets. So many of us have so many secrets, and that's what really keeps us sick.
Well, I think also the lack of awareness that we are all connected. That if I hurt you, I'm hurting me. I'm a big believer in karma also. Only because I've seen it prove itself over and over and over.
Yep, that threefold law.
But even without the karma aspect, if I hurt someone else, I'm hurting me. And that's just the way it is.
That's it, and that's the thing with forgiveness. So many people hold those resentments, and resentments are like swallowing poison and waiting for someone else to die. You know, we are the ones who are the sick ones, you know, and we have such, you know, hate going out there for someone else, you know, and what is it doing but festering in us?
Absolutely.
You know, that's a big, big part of, you know, that resentment, you know, to, you know, give it up. Forgiveness is the most selfish thing that we can do for ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's the best thing that we can do for ourselves. The weight, you know, that's lifted when you forgive somebody, it's like, wow, that was pretty neat.
Though, when you carry around a resentment for a long, long time, and you nurse it and you pat it and you take care of it and it gets bigger and you feel so justified in your resentment, and then you come to realize that the person you resented all this time never even knew it. That's a pisser. You know, all that energy that I spent hating somebody that wasn't even aware of it.
That's it.
Yeah, wow.
And that's what most of it is.
And what a relief to be rid of that.
Yeah. But it's a choice. I mean,
Absolutely.
we choose to live that way. And a lot of people don't understand that, you know, it's your choice. It's your choice if you want to make a difference. And there again, you know, the addict isn't the only person who's hurting. You know, we are like that tornado rolling through the lives of others because we're not the only one. How does someone else who is dealing with a loved one? You know, they might not be the person who is the addict, alcoholic, whatever, but they're still sick too because they're dealing with them, you know, they have to be, you know, sick also. And where do they go? And there's lots of support groups. I mean, I can't talk highly enough of support groups.
Right.
Where
there's
else?
another 12-step program that specifically relates to dealing with the alcoholic / addict. And it's helped me a lot in dealing with my daughter and my son. You know, I have two. I have another child that doesn't have those weird addictions. So
I have,
I think she was conceived from a Martian or something, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
she
she's
doesn't-
normal?
Yeah, pretty normal.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah, but it's realizing it, you know, recognizing it. I mean, you know, I had talked to my my still husband, even though it's been I think February 13th or February 14th. It was 95. How many years is that? 13 now. We've been separated.
It's my lucky number.
13.
Maybe it's yours too.
Oh yeah. Anyhow, I talked to him the other night, and you know, nothing's changed. You know, it's the same. And I think, you know, if I would have stayed in that miserable, I mean, I was pretty bad when it was finally okay. That's it. You know, I can imagine who would I be if I would have.
You're sicker.
Oh, would I be alive? I don't think I would. I don't see how I could still be alive if I would have stayed with him. I really don't. I really don't.
Same is true with me and my ex.
But there again, it's forgiving. You know, I understand now. You know, if I would know now what I knew then, then it would have been that ultimatum. Hey, listen, you know, either you're going to go to, you know, something, or that's, you know.
You didn't love yourself enough
I
to
didn't.
need that for yourself,
Yeah.
to know that you needed that for yourself.
Well, I was Supermom. You know, I was Supermom, and Supermom crashed and burned. You know, that's why I like Superman. He's hard. Wait a minute, even Superman breaks down, though.
It,
He
Yeah,
doesn't
you
have
got to
a
remember
foot. We
kryptonite.
rescued him. Were you talking to us?
Yeah, I was
is that
saying-
the voice of God? I can't hear you.
No, this is the voice of Superman. You got to remember, kryptonite hurts me.
I can't hear you.
It's Superman.
It's not imposing in here. Hello? Hello?
How about now?
No.
Can't hear you.
Whoa, feedback. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear? Or is that feedback? You hear the feedback?
You made us loud.
Yeah, he
Really
made us real loud.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to boost up my this
Yeah, no, it's
studio.
not coming out. The voice of God. And isn't that how it is? People try to talk to you and try to talk to you and you don't hear it. You're not on the same frequency.
That's true.
Whoa. I heard that.
I forgot to push the button.
So you're imperfect. Is that what you're saying?
Perfection is living in your imperfection.
Ooh, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
You better
That's
be
serenity.
careful. It's like people might get to realize that you're really not as crazy as you let them believe.
As you want us to
Don't say
think
that
you
too
are.
much.
Okay,
I am the mad monk.
I know. I'll keep your anonymity.
I think you blew it already.
Yeah, he's in working our control room. So where were we?
Oh, well, we had talked about a lot of stuff.
I know. But the important thing is to let people know that there is a solution, that you do not have to feel that you are alone, because you're not the only one who's going through something like this. Whether it's you in your dis-ease, or whether someone you love is in the middle of, there is a solution. It's just, do you want to be happy?
Or do you want to get out of your fear? Because most people don't get out of their problems because they're afraid of the unknown.
Absolutely
If
right.
a woman is hit, say her husband comes home at 5:30, and let's say every day at 5:35 he hits her. Well, she knows every day at 5:35 she's going to get hit. That's not the unknown. To leave
It's
him,
familiar.
Yeah.
Safe.
Right.
that's it.
You're describing the life I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, when did enough get enough? When do you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that you want to make a change for the better in your life?
I'm just grateful that it happened. I'm so grateful that it happened. I feel also that when you live your life gratefully, then it creates more things to be grateful for. And when you live a life of gratitude, there really isn't room for too much crap, too much chaos. But that too, that's a choice, and it comes from inside. And if you don't feel it, it's a miserable place to be. If you've ever felt it and then don't feel it, it's a much more miserable place to be. So I try to maintain that contact with the God of my understanding and with the people that I choose to surround myself with, and I can just live a grateful, happy life. And I don't need a drink. I think it's important to say to anybody looking for a solution, and this is strictly my opinion, and I've formed this opinion from my own experience and from watching others in recovery. The solution is a spiritual solution. Doesn't matter where you find it, doesn't matter how you get it. I know what worked for me. Lisa knows what worked for her. There's lots of resources, people you can call and just say help. When you're perfect, it's really hard to say help. When you're trying to appear
The
perfect.
pride comes
Yes.
before the fall.
Absolutely. But help is one of the most self-loving words I ever spoke. And it gets easier after you do it a few times.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It is really hard to make that call, to pick up the call, or to pick up the phone, to make that call.
I know on days when I have this misinformation in my mind that life really sucks, I can call you.
Yeah.
And you remind me that that's just my brain talking, that's not reality. So, yeah, that's the kind of support we all need.
That is, and it's not the same kind of support that the cry in your beer type of, because, boo-hoo, they're going through the same thing. You know, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And that's a big part of, you know, the addiction part of, you know, the definition of insanity, experiencing the same situation and expecting a different result. And it's like, duh, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So why are we surprised when, you know, we wake up Monday morning and we're broke and we don't remember how much fun we had over the weekend, and it's like, you know,
Where's my car?
yeah,
Where's my child?
there you go. There you go. And we wonder how we got to that point. And then that's when the guilt, the remorse, the self-pity sets
Secrecy.
in.
Secrecy.
Yeah.
Lots of secrecy, because you can't let anybody know how bad you really are.
Because we see ourselves, or others see us as that bad, instead of, no, that is a symptom of, we are sick people, and we have to look at it as an illness.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, an illness, a disease, you know, we die. You know, you have a disease, you die. And that's what the disease of alcoholism is. If it is progressed until the end, yeah, okay, so what? Everybody dies. We don't want to hear that one. But we die a miserable death.
I don't want to go out like that.
No, I don't either. I have too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's lots of other ways I'd rather go out.
yeah.
With Superman.
Superman, or you know, when Dale Earnhardt died, it's like, well, gee whiz, he died doing something that he loves. Come
Yeah,
on,
Right.
you
Could
know.
have been a lot worse.
That's, yeah. I mean, he could have been killed in a car accident along the road, and wow, that would really have bummed people out. You know, at least he
airplane
died.
crash or
There,
heart
yeah,
attack.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go. So yeah, we're going to be talking about lots of different solutions this next season. And we are going to be on at 6:30 till 7:30. It's going to give them a half an hour to program how the studio programs it, so that it's, you know, we don't have to do anything else other than come and do the show. And we're going to keep trying to get it better. You know, I mean, we'll keep trying to remember to turn on the studio lights so that we have better lighting. And we'll keep trying to get on right on time. And, you know, maybe by the time we're done with this next season, we'll get it right. But see, that's that progress. That's that progress, not perfection. And so many of us, you know, I've been told that we have to learn to crawl before we can walk. And so many times I just want to go running, and it's like, whoa, you know, I got to learn how to crawl first. So, you know, the symbol, you know, it's symbolic of a lot of things. And, you know, with doing the show, hey, we're learning.
What do you feel like your shows now are better than the first ones? Or you're just more comfortable?
I'm more comfortable. I guess the topics are getting a little bit better. You know, I mean, we're taking it more serious. I mean, you know, yeah, we like to have fun, but yeah.
Well, I had a really good time the first time. If you remember, I had my chart read.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've played that over and over, the DVD, watching it.
Do ya?
And yes, it was thrilling. Still thrilling. I've got
Uh-huh.
a lot of good stuff coming to me. But as I told you, one reason I was really grateful to have an opportunity to come back on was because the last filming, I was chewing gum, and I never looked at the camera, not once. It's profile. I looked at Lisa. I never looked at the camera.
Wait, yeah, you have to watch the red lights. There you
I
go.
was scared of you.
But that's a lot of people. A lot of people are scared, and I mean, you know, we don't have a studio. I mean, sometimes we have a studio audience, but we really don't have a studio audience. And unless you knew that you were on TV, I mean, we're just sitting here and having a
Right.
conversation, and you know, it becomes much more relaxing. You know, I mean, once we get over that fear, you know, the fear of the unknown, and that's a big part of, you know, with people out there. And your word of advice for someone who is still sick and suffering, what would you recommend to them?
I would recommend that they ask for help. Go to someone they trust. It doesn't matter who. Someone who isn't drinking and drugging with you. Someone who lives a life like you want. Go to them and say, I need your help. I need your help.
And if they don't know of anybody, if there is none, if they have no role model,
Well, then you get out the yellow pages.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably look under recovery.
Or even start with A.
Substance abuse.
Start with A.
Start with A. There's a couple of doubles of them in there
Yeah.
that I know can help you.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, but it's your choice. You know, stop blaming others. Okay, that's a big part. We have to take responsibility for our own happiness, and if you're not happy, then you know, stop blaming somebody else.
You know, Lisa, I think a simple way to put it, I'm a cancer survivor. In order to survive cancer, I had to have a surgery and have part of my body cut out, and then I had to have 35 radiation treatments. Had I not done that, I would have been dead 5, 6, 7 years ago. That's what I had to do to survive. My disease of alcoholism is just as deadly as the cancer was. Would probably take longer, but in order for me to not die of my disease, there's certain things I have to do, certain treatments I have to take. That is maintaining conscious contact with higher power and with other people in the recovering community who can remind me who I am.
And you are not alone. I mean, most definitely you're not alone. Sounds like the music is about winding down. And then, again, I've had a great time, Stephanie.
too.
You have to come back.
I'll do it.
And remember, you're not alone, you know? I mean, if you're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired and you want to try a new way to live, I'll tell you what, bouncing on a pink cloud's pretty darn fun.
Best
So,
buzz I ever had.
there you go. I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. We love you.
He loves you.
Who loves me, baby? Yeah. Oh, he's gonna take me. Yeah.
Right here on camera.
My
Me, I'm
Superman. Yay! I'm GloLady.
Yay!
Touchdown! See, you too can have fun. Whoa!
All you need is
You
a
can be
plastic
wild and
doll.
crazy.
Plastic doll, a crazy friend, a Friday night. Hey.
I know.
Life
What
is
can be
good.
more fun on a Friday night? Dang. I had a good time.
I did too. And I'll remember it tomorrow without, my head pounded.
Yeah, that's a biggie. And ooh, the feeling sick.